As many students are back in school virtually after the holidays, millions across the U.S. are without access to the tools and technology they need to do their homework. It's called the homework gap, and AT&T is helping to bridge that divide with our new education initiative, Connected Learning. I'm here today, everyone, with Mo Kataba from AT&T Business, Charlene Lake from CSR, and Joan Marsh from Legislative Affairs to learn more about this important topic. Mo, Charlene, Joan, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It's an important topic.
Thanks for having us, Charles.
Well, let's dive in. Charlene, what exactly is the homework gap?
Charles, you actually said it well. The homework gap simply is students who lack the connectivity they need to complete their schoolwork from home. So COVID forced students out of the classroom, and when that happened, nearly 17 million of them, 17 million, haven't been able to fully participate in learning because they lack this internet connection. And what's even a greater tragedy, Charles, is that the homework gap is more pronounced for Black and Hispanic and low-income students. And there's somewhere between 1 and 3 million of our students in America who have just disappeared from the system. They've got no formal education since last March. And those are our most vulnerable students, like special ed students and foster care students and English learners. So the homework gap isn't a new problem, but the pandemic has made it a problem that this country really can no longer ignore.
Joan, the next question is for you. Is this part of our push for universal broadband, or where does that fit in our work to close the digital divide?
Yeah, thanks, Charles. So the digital divide and broadband connectivity has really become a top national priority. I think, as Charlene has indicated, the pandemic made it very clear how important broadband connectivity is, and particularly with the incoming Biden administration, they are going to be really focused on this challenge. I'm really proud of everything we've done through our CSR programs, and Mo and his team are doing to keep students and teachers connected, but we can't do it alone. The problem, Charles, is that the Universal Service Program, which are the federal programs that are designed to make sure low-income households are connected to communication services and to make sure rural America is connected, those programs need to be modernized for the modern era. And we really are pushing very hard here in DC for a comprehensive policy reform of all these programs to make sure every American has access to 21st century broadband connectivity.
Mo, focusing on the homework gap specifically, how are we uniquely positioned to address the issue?
Yeah, Charles, that's a great question. And the answer is really about the scale of the connectivity that we can provide. When you think about what Charlene said, which is 17 million kids out there, the approach that we've taken is to go to the schools who know who these kids are that need our help and work with them on providing them hotspots, internet connectivity. So no matter where a student is, they can continue to learn. And to the point Joan made, couldn't be prouder of what we've accomplished in 2020. By the end of the year, we had connected about 500,000 households, about 1 million kids that needed our connectivity to learn. And when you think about it, you think about a school and their mission. They're there to teach our kids. The other benefit, the unique benefit that we bring, is that we can help them get these devices ready. We can get them with software that ensures that our kids aren't going to the dark corners of the internet. We can help them stage and kit them at their schools. You don't just drop off 1,000 hotspots. You got to get those ready so when the parents pull up in their car, they can be handed to them and away they go. And it's been an extraordinary year and a massive team effort where we win as one.
And Joan, can you give us some highlights of the work we've already have underway to help address this issue and early impacts that we've seen? Are there any reactions we've heard from schools, teachers, families, and even policymakers?
So as Mo indicated, we've been very engaged on multiple fronts to reach out to students and teachers and make sure they're connected. And the impact and the reaction has been tremendous. There's nothing more important for cities right now to make sure their students are connected and learning during this environment. In addition to all that work, we've done other things to support families who are struggling to pay bills. For example, we've waived overage charges for our low-income access product, which is called Access by AT&T. We've also expanded the eligibility of that product to make sure more of those that need to be connected to a low-income product are connected.
This is obviously a big issue that won't be solved overnight. So, Charlene, what can we expect to see from the Connected Learning program this year?
Well, it won't be solved overnight, and that's why we're going to continue the work that we started last year in addressing the homework gap. We're going to stick with it in 2021. We have always been focused on the underserved, but we are going to be fanatically focused on this learning gap and the need for all students to learn online effectively. And so we'll get them connected really quickly, as soon as possible, through our network build, through the policy work that Joan's team is working on, through our product offerings, and through programs like the $10 million partnership we have with Connected Nation. But the homework gap is actually quite complicated because it's more than just that physical connection. We need these students to understand how to effectively learn in a digital world. So we're going to be developing programs where we can provide digital learning tools to help students get the most out of this connection and to stop this learning gap that has really expanded in the last many months. And that's going to continue as students go back into the schoolroom, because there will be a continued reliance on digital learning. So that's why it's so important for us to stay focused on the homework gap this year and beyond.
And this final question is for everyone. What's one outcome you want to see as a result of this work? Is there anything employees can do to help?
Yeah, I would say outcome, empowered education. We want to make sure that every student, every teacher is connected so that our kids can all learn no matter what their background or socioeconomic status. It's good for all of us. And then in terms of our folks, lean in, make sure that administrators at your schools, anyone you might know personally, is aware about the capabilities and how we can serve these folks.
I'd like to see gap closure. I'd like to see every student, regardless of zip code, be able to sit behind a screen in their home in a learning environment that leads to economic opportunity for them. And for employees, volunteer. We're going to be building a lot of programs in this digital learning effort, and we're going to need employees to mentor students and provide training that helps keep the learning environment safe and effective for our students.
Here in DC, Charles, what we want to see is broad policy reform. We now all understand just how important broadband connectivity is for working, for learning, for economic productivity. And so we want to see policies at the federal level that support that. Make sure that there's sufficient funding to fund these programs, particularly for low-income households, and make sure that there's subsidies so broadband can reach every corner of this country.
Mo, Charlene, Joan, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thanks, Charles.
To learn more about AT&T, subscribe to this channel, visit the AT&T newsroom, or watch more videos in the playlist seen here.